Alright, this is Madcap Music Review. We're at NAMM 2016 in the Peisty booth with legendary Iron Maiden drummer Nicko McBrain. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, brother, how you doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, it's good to be with you. Thank you for taking time to pull me inside and have a chat.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your new drum kit and your relationship with Peisty.
Wow. Well, okay. Well, the new drum kit, first, on Thursday this week, we announced my return to Sonar. Premier Drums stopped making and manufacturing British product. They're still trading, but not with British handmade drums. So that division of Premier got closed down, which didn't do me any good. So basically, in middle of last year, I didn't have a drum company, and I knew, okay, hang on a minute, I've got this massive world tour coming up next year. I better go and find myself somebody. So honestly, it took me probably 2 seconds to think, well, I'm going to call Carl Heinzmans or my chum at Sonar, because that was my first love. I had 17 years with Sonar since 1976. They regarded my last, from 82 on with Maiden, as my endorsement deal, because I bought 2 drum sets from them prior to that.
Okay.
And then I fell into a #1 deal with Maiden, but I was with them 17 years. And so I phoned Carl when I had a meeting in September last year. We decided, he said, well, what would you like? You know, what drum set do you want to use? I said, well, obviously the SQ2 series, and I want the medium shells, which are 9-ply Beechwood, which were my old phonic sizes, and I want square sizes, all square. He said, you use a 6-inch, right? I said, 6x6, yeah, 6x6, Carl. Oh, we don't do that size anymore. And I went, okay. He said, we can do a 6x8, and I went, hey, 2 inches. What's 2 inches between friends? That'll be fine. So it's not historically a 6x6 top. So that's different in my drum set, but it's exactly the same set, 9 tom-toms, bass drum and a snare. And then we made I've got some very special hardware going on the drum set, so they told me that might be a bit of a chore to do in the time frame we had available, but they made it, and they moved heaven and earth for it. Got the drum set into England the second week of December, so I could go on the sea freight, be sea freighted with all the back line for rehearsals that will start next week.
So have you played it yet?
No.
Oh, wow.
I've only seen photographs of it. I designed the wrap. I put a wrap on the shell. It's not a lacquer shell or whatever. It's a drum wrap, and I worked on the artwork with Sam Booker from Hangman, who has done the artwork on all my previous drum sets, which have had special artwork on for the last 5 tours. In fact, for longer, since Gimme Ed tour. So that's what, 12, 13 years ago. So I designed the wrap with them. Talked to Steve about the visual concept of the drum set within the stage production. It's very poignant to the story of the Mayan. I can't really tell you, Matt, really what it's about, because it's not being revealed till the 24th of February, which is the first date of the tour. Hence, that's why we don't have the drum set here, and we pulled out my old Somewhere in Time kit to do the announcement that I'm back with Sonar, because that's iconic.
Yeah,
you know, people look at that and go, well, that's Nicko's Somewhere in Time drums. That's 30 years old.
Yeah, 86, yeah.
So this drum set is going to surpass that.
Oh, wow.
It really is. And of course, being back in the family, and I've got to be honest, it was as though, it's over 2 decades ago when I left, and it was as though I hadn't left. It's like a true bond of a true friend. You might not see your mate for 4 or 5 years, and when you get together, you feel like you saw them yesterday. And that's the same kind of relationship we have. And so I'm very, very, very excited. I can't wait for Monday. 2 weeks ago I was like, I can't wait for NAMM so we can announce it, and I can tell people, I'm back with Sonar, because it was all speculation prior.
Right.
And then now I can't wait to get home till Monday. I told my drum tech, I said, Charlie, you don't touch that drum set till I get there. I'm going to set it up, not you. He said, traditionally I'll rehead it and put the black heads on the bottom. I said, I might go with a different colour on the bottom. There's a clue for you. Traditionally I've always had black ebony Remos on the bottom of my drum sets, unless it's a concert rack, which I've used one live since Power Slave. So I'm very excited. I really am stoked to be back with Sonar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, Paisley, well, that goes without saying. I mean, I've used them since I was a teenager. When I first bought a set of drums, it was a 7-sound set, which was 602 cymbals, the 602 alloy.
Does this go back to the 18th Fairfield Walk days?
Oh, no, just after that, actually.
Okay.
It was 18th Fairfield? Well, you've done your own work, son.
Yeah, it was the first pub band, wasn't it?
No, those cymbals I used were super zins and zins, because I couldn't afford, I kind of made a mishmash of cymbals. I was always a cymbal freak. I'd have a 4-piece drum kit with about 9 cymbals around it.
Yeah.
And so then I in 1973, when I started to do session work, I went and got a hold of a Sound 7 set, or 7-sound set, I'm sorry. I was told off for putting it around Sound 7. And Eric said, this 7-sound set is not the right way you're saying it. I went, okay. And I fell in love with the brand at a very early age, and I fell into a kind of a number 2 deal, I think they called it, which was like a loaned set of cymbals when I worked with the Streetwalkers in 74, 75. Then I moved into Pat Travers, and my professional career was kind of escalating, with different levels of bands I was playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously in 82, I joined Maiden. My first downbeat with the band was January the 9th.
That's right.
83.
You wore the Eddie mask because nobody knew Clive was leaving yet.
Yeah, I went on stage with them because Trust, my band I worked with in a French band called Trust, I had 2 years with them. We actually supported Iron Maiden on the Killers tour.
Oh, okay.
And the band prior to that was a guy called Donovan McKitty. Charlie Tumahai was the bass player. He used to play with Bebop Deluxe, great bass player. In fact, Steve Harris was, one of his favourite bass players. And we did Iron Maiden's I was on the same bill with Donovan as Iron Maiden's very first gig out of England. It was in Belgium.
Wow.
And that's when I first met them all, in 1979. And this was before Trust. So we kind of then, falling in with Trust, I went on the road with Maiden, and we became very close friends, and Clive and myself especially. But through that period of time, my deal with Paisley was getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Because I kept cracking the heck out of these cymbals, because I used to play them dead flat. I mean, Tommy Aldrich's cymbals are like that, but they're lower. I had them up high, so every time I hit the cymbal, the impact went into the cymbal and kind of into the centre and back, whereas a cymbal needs to do this. If you slow-mo cymbal, a 20-inch cymbal, it's like really rocking. And when you hit it, you want it to move as you hit it. These things, I was kind of cracking them on the edge, and I was cracking a lot of them. And in fact, the Paisley rep in London, a guy called John Hill at the time, said, "Yeah, you're playing them cymbals wrong, mate." I said, "Yeah, don't try and teach your grandmother how to suck eggs, son. You're a young whippersnapper. What gives you the right to tell me I'm playing them wrong? It's off."
Yeah.
So I changed my setup, but when I joined Maiden, I was working with a guy called Bobby Lyser, who was the A&R guy in Switzerland for Paisley at that time. And I said, "Look, I want to buy into, I want to buy a completely brand new set of cymbals for my drum set. I want to get a gong, and I would buy the cymbals, but I never want to buy another Paisley as long as I live." That was the kind of way I put it to him. He said, "Well, I don't know if we can do that, but yeah, we'll do a deal for you." And then I I gradually worked into this wonderful relationship with the family that has been unbelievable. Thomas Paisley and I were very, very, very close. Robert I didn't get to meet till late 80s. And of course we lost Thomas in 2002, and his son Eric was kind of thrown in the deep end after his papa died, So, of course, then Kelly, who is literally the face of Paisley. Eric tends to sort of ensconce himself in the business side, and Kelly looks after really all of the artists within the family, and she's such a sweet girl, so my love affair for the cymbals is probably on a par with the Sonar.
Okay.
Love affair that I had, and now I'm back. So it's like I got divorced from them, and I got remarried with Sonar. It's not a bad analogy.
It's not, no.
I mean? So yeah, it's been great. It's been a phenomenal, and we've collaborated on cymbals in the past, and we've got a very, very, very special. Let's put it this way: we've got a very special set of cymbals we're working on that we maybe will be revealed in due course after the 24th of February. So yeah, I can't tell you enough how proud I am and humbled by the fact that I have these great relationships. That's me. I've never been somebody that switches and changes, and somebody will come along and say, "Would you like it?" We'll
give you a better deal if you
rate you for using this brand. And it's very again on that side of things, it's very humbling and very nice. And yeah, thank you very much. You think enough of me to want to pay me to use your gear. Mm-hmm. Well, that's very kind of you, but no thanks.
You're loyal to your company, so take care.
And that's one of the things that Tomas actually was impressed with in my psyche within the brand. He said, "Look, I can tell you love it. And I bought the cymbals before I got them for free, And in a way, it's a weird way round. The guys that make it in profile and become, if you like, famous in famous bands, get all their gear for nothing. They can afford to buy it.
Yeah.
I said to Thomas, we should be giving stuff to the young up and coming guys that can't afford it.
Yeah, it's all and backwards,
goes,
right?
I see your point, but we'd be giving up all the stuff away then,
right.
We,
Everyone would be starting a band.
but no, the nice thing the great thing with Piety, when we designed there were 24 of us that had an input into the signature line back in the late 80s, early 90s. And we were ambassadors to Piety at that time. And I remember I said to Tomas, I've got about 4 cases of cymbals from each of these tours, put over the years. You have to carry your spare cymbals on the road with you. Nice big trunk, 4 of these, 4 of those, 3 of those, 2 of those, 2 rides, complete sets.
Right.
After the tour's finished, you go into the next tour, and then you get the next. I used 2002's Dimensions, 3000 series, Sound Creations. Then I went back to 2002's, and I went into the signature line, which is where I'm at today. So I said, I want to give you your cymbals back. He said, well, what am I going to do with them? I said, well, you flog them. Give them to the young kids. He said, you can do that. You're an ambassador for Python. Don't mean to say, boys and girls, come up and I'll give you a set of my cymbals. So don't get that right. You've got to deserve it. So it's a great honour. Wonderful.
How important to you was Joe Morello growing up?
Oh, wow. He was the guy that started it all. I watched him. He was, Dave Brubeck quartet, and they had Take 5 came out, and it went into the charts in England.
Pop charts even, for a jazz album.
And then I remember we had an old black and white telly, and I was probably BBC, because I think we only had the one channel, and then BBC 2 came along. But I remember one evening we'd had dinner, and the telly was on, black and white. Right off it goes. And then in the middle, it was live. No such thing as recorded television in that day, except for films, they show a film. But then Joe went off in this solo. And I'm like, wow. He's, and the bass player, he's just got pedaling on the back, and he's of course, traditional grip. Off he's going. And I said to my dad, here, who's that? He said, that's Joe Morello, son. I said, Joe Morello? It's a strange name. Something like that. I said, I want to be like him. You'll never be as good as Joe Morello, son. You should pipe to him. And I went out in my mum's, in the kitchen. I picked up a pair of knives and beat the shit out of my mum's cooker. Excuse me swearing.
That's okay.
It doesn't work if I don't swear. It's So, and I remember in those days, the cooker was an enamel cooker, and I was chipping all the enamel off, and my mum came out and saw all these pieces because I went crazy. I was Joe Morello. And the weirdest thing is, because at that time my father was a trumpet player, so I had a lot of jazz upbringing. I was hearing a lot of George Shearing and Benny Goodman and people like that, so I had a kind of jazz and hearing these great players, but not really taking any notice of them. And then at that time, then the Beatles came out, and I fell in love with Ringo. And I still think Ringo Starr is a phenomenal drummer. People go, oh, man, he's not going to play. He is. His timing was just impeccable. Now, he's a left-handed drummer. He'd have that sweep across his
get the
15-inch
swings.
hands, you know, and I had a picture of him on my wall. And every night I go to bed going, I'm going to do that. You know, so, but Joe Morello kicks it off. And the greatest thing, and just to digress the story, I was at this show. You know, it must have been, I think, 70, let's see. Ice came out 2000, it was 72, I think. 90, so 20, yeah, it was 92. And I think Dave Garibaldi was looking after Joe Morello. Maybe one of anyway, I'm signing with Bobby Rondinelli for Peisty in one of the halls here. And Joe walked past, and I've gone, it's fucking Joe Morello. Hold on, everybody. Here's a Kodak moment coming. And I went over to Joe and I introduced myself to him. And
wow.
We got a chat. Then Bobby came over and I talked to Joe about the story of how he got me. You know, how I said my mum wants to work with you, and he went, "Oh, does she?"
Broker
no,
cookware.
not for the reason you're thinking of. Drummer.
Yeah.
She wants to have a go. So all the sleepless nights I gave her playing my drums during the day and becoming a musician. And he laughed. So I got to meet the great man.
Wow.
I really, and then I saw him in Frankfurt the year before he passed. And, so that was great. Yeah. So he was really, it was all his fault. But I didn't follow the jazz route.
No, definitely not. But it's interesting, as a metal drummer, you will not play that double bass pedal. You've never really been a fan of it. Is there a reason?
People like Mooney and, Mooney had two bass drums, but he very rarely played the left side. I don't think he even had a pedal on it. He may have done up a bit. Bonham and Ringo, and really when I was growing up, learning and being enticed into the music of that genre, that year, that decade, if you like. Ed Shaughnessy was a double bass drum, Louis Bellson, of course, and then the great Ginger Baker. But at that time, I wasn't a Baker. I was a Cream fan, but I wasn't a fan of Gingers. It was weird. It's only later in life I realised how really good Ginger Baker is as today, as a player.
You'd have to nail his drum kits, I hear, to the stage, because
crap out, But and then of course Cozy Powell came along a little later. But he was to me, and Tommy Aldridge, and then late 70s, these drummers started. You see more of these double bass drum players. But I kind of grew up and learnt with one, and I found it hard enough. I mean, I've always said the analogy, it's bad enough trying to use one pedal, why compound it with two?
Right.
But in fact, it's reversed. When you have two pedals, certain parts are easier. 16 notes on a certain beat, that sort of thing.
Like we were talking about Empire of the Clouds.
Because, I can get a couple of bars like Wicker Man, for instance. Oh gosh, when we played that in live, when I was younger, I didn't have a problem. Now, it's like, I'll fudge it. Sometimes I'll nail it, especially there's a repeat section. So it depends how far I've got to go with that kind of those notes, Brilliant. But no, I don't know. It's just why change it? In '75 when I bought my first, 76 actually, late '75 when I joined Pat Travers, he asked me to use a big drum set. He wanted me to play a double bass drum kit. I said, I will get a big kit, but I'm not playing two bass drums. And I bought a Sonar XK9212 concert rack, double bass drum set. I've binned the left one out, or it could have been the right one, who cares?
Right.
I've binned one of them out, and actually it's in my warehouse.
Oh wow.
It's Maiden through all the years prior to Maiden. Knows how that happened. To my drum set. I found a Sonar bass drum. It's never been used. I said that would have been the bass drum from the original drum set.
Wow.
Anyway, I bought two Sonar drum sets because Pat Travers kept my drum kit when he fired me in 1977.
Oh, boo!
We made up now. Pat's a really dear friend. We actually had a jam again about 3 years ago.
Oh yeah?
Me, Pat, myself, and Mars, Peter Cowlin.
Oh wow.
The original making magic, putting a straight liner. It was brilliant.
Very cool.
Great guitar. Yeah, so I use a double pedal on Facing the Sand, and a track called Facing the Sand. Adrian wrote the track, and he goes, whoa, and he came up with this really, really amazing double bass drum line. Mm-hmm. And I said, look, he said, you can play that. I said, no, I can't. He says, you're a genius, you can play anything. Nice compliment, I might add, right? Yeah. But I'm going, no, there's no way I could do that pattern. He said, I want to practice like I said, I can't even do equal notation on a bass drum. It's like a flam.
Right.
And so we recorded it, and I'm going, let's go do this again. Finally, I thought, this is ridiculous. It's going up and down in time. So eventually, Kevin Shirley goes, this is getting ridiculous. I said, look, I can't do this. I said, my left foot isn't as strong as my right, and I'm trying to not hit the right one, and it just doesn't work for me. I'm not feeling it, man. He said, hang on a minute, gets in the Pro Tool. Right, see this? And there's this, you've got the line of the wavelength of each note of whatever you're looking at, right? I don't know how they do it. I don't get it, man. There's the left one. There's about 3 graph lines down, and there's the right up here. And I said, oh, yeah, I know. You're showing me something I already know. And he goes, watch this. Gets the cursor, puts the left one up to the line that the right one's on, presses save or whatever he does, or
Yeah.
And then he plays it back this. I said, you're a genius, and he let me go with it because I told a story, and I told the story as well. I used the Pro Tools system to cheat it. I didn't play it like that because I couldn't.
Huh.
I'm not going to take credit for the fact that I used that double bass drum and I had each note even. I did not, and it sped up. I mean, yes, we do speed up. That's the nature of Maiden, but it was noticeable. Well, first verse, and it goes, and you think yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you're having a difficult time with something, it would slow down rather than speed up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you try harder, so therefore you kind of lose your meter. It's like when you play when you're tired. Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing because if you're fatigued and tired, you end up playing faster because you're trying harder. And this is one of the things Harry usually says in the dressing. How are you feeling tonight, Nick? Oh, I feel really. I didn't sleep well last night. Oh my God, he's going to be a real. We'll be over in like an hour and a half instead of an hour and an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's a weird phenomenon. You think because you're tired,
you'd be slower.
You sort of sit back on everything.
Right.
I think what happens is when your adrenaline kicks in, you know you're fatigued before you start.
Right.
So that's why it's very important.
You're doing 5-minute versions of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Oh, yeah. Thank goodness it's never been that quick. But, it's funny that, and likewise with anybody. I mean, I'm not so sure if it happens with vocalists, but I know it happens with the guitar players too. They tend to feel it and push it a bit. I just never really. I see these guys like Dave Lombardo and all these super whiz good, and then you look at people like Thomas Lang who's doing the ostinato stuff with his pedals and all these kickbacks on these remote hats and stuff. It's phenomenal. Achilles Priester, all these wonderful double bass drum players. I couldn't get into that. I mean, I would if I sat down probably for a year or two and practiced every day for 11 hours like Thomas used to, I said to him once, I said, how long do you practice it? Oh, about 11 hours a day. And I said, you need to get alive, get out more often.
Yeah, right.
But wonderful, yeah. It's horses for courses, whatever rocks your boat, I mean, I came out of that sort of funk and blues era when I was growing up, after I moved into more progressive. I played in the blues band for a few years. After the 18th Fairfields, we used to do all pop stuff then.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had a lovely diversity growing up. One thing I could never get into was reggae, or at that time it wasn't reggae, it was called blue beat music.
Ska, yeah.
Ska,
Never. The one drop.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go out and have jams with it. Let's do a Bob Marley song. No.
Right. No thanks.
I always had problems with it because I'd end up trying to rock it.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
How excited are you guys to get the Book of Souls songs out live?
well, we haven't rehearsed them yet. Who knows? I spoke to Steve a few months before Christmas. I said, Harry, let's do the whole record.
Kind of like in '06 with The Matter of Life and Death.
Yeah, I said, let's do the whole fucking thing. He said, no.
92 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
Why not? Give me a reason. No, 92 minutes of music on the album without Bruce rattling and nattering on between songs. He said, we wouldn't have time to do any of the old stuff. Which he's got a point. It's a long record. It's 92 minutes on vinyl or on CDs.
Yeah, 2 CDs.
And that, you know, you've got to say hello and good evening to the audience and, you know, introduce a song here and there.
Sure.
I mean, we're not AC/DC. Like they used to. Brian couldn't say a word to the audience. Now it's different. But,
sure.
So we've worked out a schedule of some of the songs, and we've changed some of the other songs before we've actually rehearsed them. Yeah, we swapped one out. We've got the set list that we want to rehearse, and that may all change.
Oh yeah?
Well, you know, the thing is, what we do is we all talk about what we'd like to play and what we don't leave out and what we do leave out and that sort of thing. But when we get in the room, we see, we after you've gone through the set a few times, after like in the second week, you feel whether it's flying right. Mm-hmm. And then you've got to, you know, then we've got to look at the bigger picture of what the audience is seeing when they're hearing the music.
Oh, because it's such a visual aesthetic to what you do.
The idea is you start off, you go out, usually we do 4 songs in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Right.
You know, and then Bruce will say something, and that gives us a time. I need it, because I have to towel myself down, tune my drums up,
right,
have a drink, I mean a glass of water.
Yeah, 5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and everybody's changing guitars or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little respite, then you are saying hi to the audience. Welcome to the show. Then there's an ebb and flow, and you want to sort of take it up, and it goes to a level where, you know, everybody's kind of, and then you start, you know, you have to pace it. It's not like when we're 21, you just go out and go gang-ho from first song to last.
Right.
You have to have a movement within the show,
mm-hmm,
and a dynamic in there. So when you've rehearsed your songs, we may change them. We may feel that something might not work. So, you know, the reason I can't say what we're doing is because it may not be that. And people will go, oh, you said you were going to do that song, and you said you were going to do that song. People will be disappointed if we don't do it.
Sure.
So
Almost such a discography.
We know what we want to do off the new record, that's for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
I always hope you guys will end up bringing Deja Vu into the set. That's one of my favorites.
Mr. Murray, yes. I can't remember the last time. We must have played that way back in the late 80s, I think was the
It's
last
been a
time.
while.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys have done it.
You know what,
years.
though? One song I really would like to do is Alexander the Great. We've never played it live.
Never? Wow.
Never. We rehearsed it way back. And,
that's a great epic.
The problem with it at that time, there was a middle section when it goes and this is it.
Yeah.
I can't even sing it and play it. I can't even play it properly. So there was a discrepancy in how that piece felt, and we thought, nah, let's not do it. But now the guys, we've all got older and a little wiser and more savvy. Oh, it reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. Savvy.
Feeling sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, we're very excited about the new tour. Bruce has learned how to fly a 747, and we've liveried the aeroplane up with a Book of Souls Eddie on the boot. And the only thing is, it's a brutal tour. I mean, it is a travel day gig. Travel day gig. 2 travel days. Gig.
No golf time for you. No, you got to be sad about that.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just hoping my back holds out because of the lot of hours in the air in an aeroplane, like it was in 2008.
That's right.
That first 666 tour was brutal. You know.
That was, I mean, wow. Just to see how much, I almost felt bad being an American because you go to all these other countries and fans are crying and they're just, because they haven't seen you guys for so long. I think we get spoiled here in the States a bit.
Yeah.
You know, we get lucky. It's like Maiden's coming to town. Okay, it's sold out Friday. Well, I know they'll come back on Saturday.
Yeah, we're only doing 10 shows in the States on this tour. I mean, I don't know if we'll come back to 17. I would imagine it's a possibility. I can't. I mean, I'm just thinking that's what I'd like to do. Whether we do or not, it remains to be seen. But traditionally, on the last tour, you know, we did like a 2-year bit in the first year and a bit in the next year.
That's
you know,
right.
But we haven't actually discussed doing that. But I did mention it to my manager a couple of months before Christmas. I said, oh, maybe we should go back out and do a few more shows in the States, a couple back. You know, we're only doing the one show in Britain.
Yeah.
You know, Donington, and that's it.
And then most likely the next tour would be, you guys have had that pattern, release an album tour, then the history tour, then the album.
History tour. Maybe we should do a history tour where we play songs we've never played live before.
That would be brilliant.
You know?
How cool would that be?
Cool, wouldn't it?
That would be, yes.
Mind you, that's too much hard work for us because we got to learn the songs again.
So that's why you always play the Trooper.
Yeah, no, the Trooper's got to
it's a
be played.
classic.
People,
you have to.
Run to the Hills. We dropped that a while. Even on the last tour, we didn't play Hello.
Do you guys ever get sick of playing? I mean, they're great songs, but you're playing them never.
No, I mean, I think if you did, if there was a period where anyone in the band went, I'm sick of playing that, it's time to hang it up.
Oh, wow.
I would have, you know. It's not me, he's asking me all these questions, Kel, come on. No, I mean, the thing is, like, Iron Maiden traditionally closes the set before we go back, and if we get an encore, 9 times out of 10 we do.
Yes.
But, you know, it would traditionally be Iron Maiden that closes. But why do they close with that all the time? Well, it's Iron freaking Maiden. It's the title album track. It's the title.
That's right.
You know, it's Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
You'll always get that.
Yep.
And we mix it up a bit. Hello we didn't play on the last tour. And it's weird because I said years and years ago, I said, well, if we ever do a tour where we don't play Hello, I'm leaving the band. Right, this is no word of a lie. I said, we're already late 80s. And I reminded him of it on the last tour, and I said, we're not doing Hello. I said, do you know what I said? He said, oh, and you know what he said, man? He said, we should have left it out sooner.
He said that?
That's the sense of humour we have in our band, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm only joking. Of course I knew he was joking.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a great track. I think that's probably my favourite song to play live. Out of all the songs I've ever worked with on Iron Maiden, Hello, there's just something about that song that possesses me when I'm playing.
Have you heard
Sometimes I go crazy too quick with it. Sometimes now we play it, we've pretty much got the meter. It's a lot quicker, always has been a lot quicker than the record.
Yeah.
But the last few tours we played it on, it found its niche and it never really moved. And it's just that solo section in the middle, just freaking. Oh, it just takes me into another world. And then at the very end, when David does it,
oh my God, yes. The audience just goes nuts. Yeah, right.
You know, and I still do it. That's what that song does to me. How old is that? 34 years old?
82, Number of the Beast. Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, who knows? So we're very excited though. I mean, it's going to be a full-on 6-month tour. You know, there's not really a lot of time. We're going to China for the first time. 2 shows there, Beijing and Shanghai. I think we got 1 day off, which is a travel day between Shanghai and Beijing, or Beijing, whichever way around the first gig is. And you know, you expect you'd have a day or two, but we have to keep moving. Is the key? You know, the keeping an aeroplane that size on the ground with more than there's a lot of expenses involved.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap at all, especially with your guys' extensive tour set. I mean, all the gear you've got to be
hauling.
hauling.
A lot of gigs. Yeah, we're doing a lot of shows. I'm very excited. You know, we're all very, very stoked because it's been over 1.5 years since we played. Well, live. You know.
I was going to ask you before we go, if I ever make it out to Florida, can you recommend a good rib place?
I have heard about a place.
Oh, I thought you might have.
No, I have. There's this really good-looking fella, I've been told. All the girls tell me how if you go down here, you might be lucky to see him. It's called Rock and Roll Ribs.
Oh, okay.
Rumour has it, it's a very good-looking bloke who owns it.
He plays a mean set of drums.
The drummer. No, it's brilliant, mate. It really is. We celebrated 6 years in December. And we haven't changed anything since we opened, but everybody that comes in that restaurant love it, you know, and it's like a drug to people. And I'm like, you know, I only use that as an analogy because people just can't get enough of it, you know. And I even have people from Memphis come in, and I had 2 actual rib. You know, they have this tournament every year in Memphis for rib cookout.
Oh, okay.
And I had 2 judges come in, and they said, these are very comparable ribs to you. You need to put your ribs. This was 5 years ago. But I'm not. It's not about that for me. It's about just having a great ambience, good service, and great food. You know, and it is. Unfortunately, we have to start raising the prices a little bit because pig commodities change, and it's like the money market.
Sure.
You know, and we lock in. We have a great relationship with our food supplier, so I always make sure, and I make hands-on. I go in and make sure we aren't cutting corners with, you know, getting when you get wings, for instance, you can get a grade A wing, and you go down to what's called a random, which you get big wings and little wings, and they don't cost as much per pound. Same kind of farm, same farm chicken, Purdue chicken. You go and keep the A grade. You know. Now we've gone antibacterial. None of the antibiotic free range chicken.
Free range chicken.
Yeah, so we've done a deal with
organic.
And so we're
awesome.
now going to, so we can offer our guests that on the menu. Which
that's
is great.
great.
And I think that's great. I want to do it with pork as well.
That would be
I don't
brilliant.
think there's a farm yet that's doing that. With pigs, you just get, you know.
No, you can find it with beef and chicken. It's hard with pork, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so it's great. So when you're downtown, man, give us a shout.
I will, for sure.
Rib shack.
And the last thing I want to ask is, with Deep Purple getting finally into the Hall of Fame this year, is that something that you guys ever think about? Does it even matter to you?
No, it doesn't. You know, it kind of, I think it lost its way a while ago. It's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it kind of went more global, if you like. More expansive.
Outside of the rock and roll genre.
Outside of what it was really there at the beginning.
Right.
And it kind of lost the meaning to us. I mean, we've all visited it over the years, you know, when we were many years back. But no, it's not a big thing. I think the thing that we like is when our fans and fans in general of our genre of music will vote for you. They make it work, not a committee of a bunch of guys.
Probably
whoever it is decides you're going to be in or you're not. And that means a lot to us. When kids come up and say, it's because of you guys I started to play music, or it's because you're the first drummer I heard. You know, I had a lot of kids come up and have been a great inspiration to me. That is the greatest accolade you can get. Plus the fact that people go and buy your record.
Absolutely.
Even today, you know, even social media, it's different now than it was 20, 30 years ago. But
I'm so glad you guys still put out vinyl, because there's those of us that love to collect, and that's a great thing to have.
I dragged my old stereo unit out of the garage. It's been in my garage for 4 years since I had some extension work done at my house, and I never put it back in the lounge. And when I knew we had coming out with a triple album, I went, right, blew all the dust off it, got the old compressed air bottle out, got all the circuitry going again, stuck it up, nice Pioneer system, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem was, when I set it up, I didn't have an earth wire from the turntable to the ground, like a ground wire.
Yeah.
And it's going, so you can hear the music, and I thought, what's that freaking noise? Oh, I bet you ain't got a ground wire, you twat. And so I had to get a bit of speaker cable, right? Because I got the album before it was released, obviously. I'm like, I'm fiddling with this copper piece of speaker cable, and I jerry-rigged it. And then I thought, I'm going to need a proper ground earth wire. And I went on eBay. What a great thing. Found this Pioneer deck that had exactly what I needed. $7.
Perfect.
2 days later, I had it, and it's brilliant.
That's excellent.
So I'm very happy that I went in the attic, got all my old vinyl out. It's brilliant. Can't beat it. The only thing that's difficult about that,
what's that?
is, well, you put the album on, you get maybe 3 or 4 tracks, depending if it's a Maiden album. It's
because they're like,
So you go and you make a cup of tea, sit with your mates, all of a sudden, what's happening to the music?
Yeah, where'd it go?
Shit, you've got to turn the album over in it. Oh, right. And it feels like you've only just sat down. So you get lazy, don't you? You put your CD in and you get the whole thing.
That's right.
That's brilliant. Well, thanks, mate.
Thank you for your time.
I really appreciate your time, mate.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
It's my absolute pleasure, really.
You're one of the greats. Grew up, been a Maiden fan all my life, and
thank you.
First thing I ever heard was "Peace of Mind" in your intro to "Where Eagles Dare." Yeah, that was my first intro to Maiden.
That was that Sono kit was my second drum set I bought from Sono.
Oh wow!
It was after Pat kept my first one, I had to go back and get another one. And it was the concert tom, open toms. It's actually Steve's favourite drum set. He keeps on at me. Would you go back?
Oh no way!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I said, no, not really. I'm so used to the square size with the bottom head on now.
Yeah.
You know, but he's kind of but that was his favourite kit. The kit that did the first 2 albums that I did with Maiden. Because on the second album, the third album, I went to a double-headed kit. No, tell a lie. I did actually. Somewhere in Time was recorded on the first 3 albums I did. And then when we went on tour was the black, the phonic high-tech finish, black crown.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for your
thanks
time.
very much,
This
man.
has been an honor beyond
pleasure.
belief.
You too, man. Yeah.
Good luck with the tour. We'll be seeing you in February.
You bet.
We can't wait for it. And Nicko McBrain, Up the Irons. You know where to find these guys. If you don't, you suck.
God bless. Be well.